Mkapa's legacy of peace. Yet, as we talk about emulating this legacy, that is not what we are seeing within the East African community, especially within the African continent, because during every electioneering period, people are worried about peace. Yet now we are talking about emulating Mkapa's legacy of peace.
Well, you see, transitions have challenges, and what we should learn from him and the experience we went through as Kenya is that we should not allow transitions or elections to become cycles of violence. I think this is the underlying message he's putting across. For instance, if we are entering a stage of transition, we must make sure that the transition is acceptable first to the people of Kenyans, because it has been done in accordance with the Constitution, and it must also be a transition that receives international recognition and respect. So I think these are the underlying principles that you cannot take away from Benjamin Mkapa.
And what will you remember Mkapa for? And the reason as to why I'm asking this question, let's not base it, because you've also talked about it, the peace legacy, the role he played during the 2007-2008 post-election violence. But Mkapa's relationship with ODM and PNU during the hotly contested presidential election.
Well, let me tell you one thing. He had a great sense of humor, and he would bring in comments even when there's maximum tension that would help in easing the mood when it was time to talk. He was very thoughtful, very eloquent in his Kiswahili and English. Remember, he was a journalist himself in terms of his career. So he was a very good communicator in matters like this.
All right, and Honorable Mudavadi, let me just take you back the memory lanes, because during that time there was, a tough decision. People were making tough decisions from the PNU side and also from the ODM side. But what statement did the late Mkapa say that made political leaders within PNU and ODM take a backseat and think, this is our country, we need to protect it?
Actually, there were so many comments that he made. In fact, in my book, in my autobiography, I do single out, this is rising above the storms of passion. I do single out aspects of Mkapa and how they steered the mediation talks. I think what I can emphasize is that he constantly said, put the country above yourself.
All right, and lastly, as we bring this conversation to an end, Mheshimiwa, Tanzania is almost going to an electioneering period. What message would you like to tell them during this time as they mourn their former president, the third president of Tanzania, especially when it comes to a transparent and a peaceful election?
All I can say is that they owe it to him. They owe it to the region. They owe it to the African continent. Because it's during such moments of electioneering in our country that we see errant moments. But let us agree that over the years, Tanzania has also conducted itself quite well in matters of elections and so forth. So I personally do not see that this will change significantly. But what is important is that Benjamin Mkapa was a strong proponent of proper democratic practices. So I can only urge the people of Tanzania and in the region to make sure that we respect and honor proper democratic practices.
All right. Thank you so much. Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi talking to us about his tribute and contribution of the late Benjamin Mkapa during his time when he played a crucial role in Kenya when it came to brokering a peace between ODM leader Raila Odinga and the then president, that is Mzee Mwai Kibaki. And so let's move away from that, and we head straight to the international scene, to the U.S., where President Donald Trump says it is possible he would order the closure of more Chinese consulates in the United States in the wake of the State Department's order to close Beijing's consulate in Houston. The U.S. State Department said early on Wednesday the Chinese mission in Houston was being closed to protect American intellectual property and Americans' private information. Overnight on Houston, firefighters went to the consulate after smoke was seen. Two U.S. government officials said they had information that documents were being burned there.
Everybody said there's a fire, and I guess they were burning documents or burning papers, and I wonder what that's all about.
All right, it's time for me to wrap up KTN News Center, even as we keep a keen eye on what is making the headlines here in the country. And so many leaders continue sending their tribute to the family and friends of the late former president of Tanzania, that Mzee Benjamin Mkapa, and leaders giving their memories, photos, just to remember the good time they had with the former president. My name is Brenda Zeda Radido, so I pave way for Cecilia Kesho Madhu.